Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Net. It's the September the 30th edition, and this is a birthday week 2024 recap episode. After a week full of announcements, new tools, additions, and blog posts. I'm your host, João Tomé, based in Lisbon, Portugal. That's the background I have right now. And with me, I have Kelly May Johnston, Director of Product Management, and Brendan Irvine-Broque, Group Product Manager in the Workers platform. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hey, doing good.
This is great. Good to be here.
A busy week, right? It's like the end of a very busy week for you both. How's the feeling? What's the feeling of having such a busy week?
Yeah, it's funny, before we even started the segment, Brendan and I were kind of reflecting on it a bit and just kind of celebrating because it is a really busy week, but it's an intentional busy. And so there's so much behind it. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, kind of as I got up this morning of like, okay, one more day, let's go. I appreciate intentional like focus and busyness and impact. So that's kind of where my head's been at with the week. Brendan, I'm curious what you've been thinking about, I guess, this morning on the last day.
Yeah. Yesterday on Thursday was our big developer day, and it's just been really great to hear so much feedback from developers, be talking to people, just put things out there and get that cycle going.
Sure. And how about sleep? A lot of sleep this week or not that much? I would say not that much, right?
Well, I'm usually in California and we do announcements early at 6 a.m. So I actually flew out to our London office and I'm here, and it's actually kind of nice. You start a little later in the day. So it's been pretty nice actually.
Yeah, that was a smart move. Yeah, definitely a little less sleep, but overall doing okay.
I know the feeling because I'm in Lisbon. So usually when blog posts go out, I have had a few hours to prepare and all that. So that helps definitely. In terms of the main vibe, let's call it like that, of the week, for those who don't know what the birthday week is at Cloudflare and the main thing they should take from this birthday week specifically, how can we categorize it?
Good question. Brendan, you go. You take this one.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like Kelly and I have been talking about this all week. I mean, birthday week is really about Cloudflare giving back to the internet. And, we have a mission of building a better internet at Cloudflare and helping to do that. And so it's really about like, how do we do things that are for the broader internet that make it faster, safer, and more secure? And we've been trying to do that kind of every day this week.
Yeah, I would add to like something that I think has been really neat because this is actually my first birthday week. And so something that I've thought about is it very much is exactly what Brendan said. And as I kind of went back and I looked at previous ones and previous posts from 2022, 2023, and before that, like we continue to stay relevant in industry leading. So like it is around our mission, it's around our customers, but it's also they're intentional things that we're releasing. It's not just, hey, this is what birthday week, we want to stay true to our mission. Here's a ton of stuff. The stuff is intentional around where the industry is at, things that we need to have bigger opinions about, boundaries that we need to push a little bit. And we continue to do that. And I think that's important to the industry that we're in of being opinionated, caring about our mission, pushing boundaries when we need to.
One of the things that surprised me actually is Cloudflare is a big company in a sense, but also a company with different products, a lot of different products. And Birthday Week has a glimpse at several of those products, like improvements. It could be hardware. It could be generation 12 of different GPUs or CPUs. There's improvements in hardware, software for developers, for AI, those who work in AI. There's so many things going on in terms of small improvements here, very big improvements there. That is quite amazing to see the scale of different areas of the company that are represented on Birthday Week. Quite interesting to see that.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. And I think personally, like working in product, I think that's one of the really fun things about working for Cloudflare, right? Is I remember when I came in and was talking with Sergi and a few other people around, I normally have this like goal as a product leader to know the product so intimately within a certain amount of time. And I had to throw that out the window with Cloudflare of like, what part of the product can I know super intimately? And then go from there, because you're right. Like our product offering is so vast and so has so many different types of personas. And that's incredible because it continues to just grow and grow in the level of impact that we can have.
Absolutely. And there's also this element of it. The week, I think, also shows a ecosystem. You will see an ecosystem at play in with those different products that for some companies is great to have an ecosystem that you plug in different products and you have all of that ecosystem available to you from email to all sorts of things. And on Monday, for example, we have like something related to payments, improvement in terms of payments, for example. So there's always new additions to be made there. I'm also curious. One of the things that Birthday Week has is it's something that we share improvements. There's a lot of feedback from developers, but also typical customers of different products. What is that feedback that we've been having that maybe surprised you in some sense? A product that, or a feature that you weren't expecting that has so great feedback specifically.
Well, I mean, it's fascinating because every year, Matthew and Dane, a couple of people who've been at Cloudflare for a long time or lead Cloudflare, that kind of tweet about like, hey, what do you want to see us announce at Birthday Week? And it's always fun to see the things that people, 6 weeks before, are like, I really want it to be this. And it actually, they're right. Like they hit the bingo card. So there's a lot of things that are surprisingly like that. And we tend to work a lot in the open. But one thing that kind of stands out is we announced this thing we're calling Speed Brain around speculatively kind of prefetching resources from a web page before you visit the next page to make that subsequent page load really, really fast. And that I think, is in that bucket of like, yes, it's like web standards. It's something you could have guessed that Cloudflare would have built, but the way we approached it was maybe a bit of a surprise to folks.
Yeah. Something that I also really appreciated just around, this topic of just like customer feedback, customer giving insights is even previous to releasing, like several of the things we announced are things that customers have been asking for. And so I really love, the PMs behind those and the vast teams behind those of like, hey, this is something that our customers have been asking for a while. Could we really make a push and get this out for Birthday Week and really give this back to the many customers that have been requesting it? And that was cool to see how many of those came through in the list this year and we're able to finally give those to customers.
Makes sense. It was a lot, as we were saying. And this year, there's long blog posts with different products in them. So potentially less blog posts, but more condensed in terms of information. Let's start with the week. Actually, this is that I'm sharing our hub, our Birthday Week hub, where you can see the sum up of blog posts that we had throughout the week. It's the week actually started with the typical annual founders letter that Matthew and Michelle wrote, specifically about where we think about the state of the internet, where it is, the challenges. But then on Monday we start with products, and Monday was a AI day, right? What should we highlight for Monday AI day?
I'll jump right in. So on Monday, we announced AI Audit, and AI Audit kind of speaks to how hard it is for people who have websites to kind of navigate this new era of AI and content scraping, and puts the power back in their hands. So what it lets you do is it lets you understand which AI model scrapers are accessing your content, and then take action and put that control back in your hands to say like how do you want to operate things. And so, we're excited about this. This is kind of us venturing into some new territory in a couple ways. But yeah.
Yeah, it's that actually is a very specific thing that I think from the reactions I saw, some people were not expecting, but the feedback was great in terms of having that control from the content creator side, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's one of those that that is a little surprising, but in a good way, right? Like AI is a space right now that is evolving so rapidly, and there are so many opinions about it. And so it's having an opinion of how can we give our customers more visibility? How can they feel more educated? How can they make more intentional decisions for what they need? That's what I personally like about this is like giving them more tools around this space.
Makes sense. There's more regarding AI specifically for that first day. Anything we want to highlight specifically?
Anything else, Brendan?
I mean, there's posts that we always make every year. We talk about the performance of our network. One product that we talked a little bit about is Cloudflare Turnstile, and how we're kind of approaching, being able to categorize what is a bot with a little bit more granularity and nuance, and like going beyond just looking at IP addresses. For context, Turnstile is kind of a capture replacement. It's like a lot smoother for your own customers to kind of work with. It's kind of capture alternative. And so we went into detail here on, a little bit more about how ephemeral device IDs work, and how we can kind of identify, what is a bad actor in a more kind of more advanced way.
Like those are important to be there, but if they're they take you less time, everyone wins in a sense, right?
For sure.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah, this is a good one. Actually, this is a very relevant product that is very visible for many customers.
That's what I was going to say is like everyone has hit this, right? Where they're like, CAPTCHA, right? And it's a space that, to your point, it affects so many people. And so just continuing to improve on that experience for people.
Exactly. There's also this partnership with ISPs
Yeah.
mentioned here, also with Quad One for Family specifically. This is important too, right?
Yeah, this is one we're going to stay really close to. I was talking with Nitin a little bit more about it, and he immediately messaged and was like, "Hey, I want to know like everybody that, kind of signs up here so that we can really dive in with our partnerships team." And really it's super impactful because it's one of those of like, how can we continue to impact more and more of the internet in terms of privacy and security? So how can we build more intentional partnerships to bring security all the way to people's homes? So many of us that work at Cloudflare are like, yeah, we know what to do to kind of set up our space at home, keep it secure, maybe help any teenagers or different kids we have in the home have a safe browsing experience. But a lot of people don't. Things can be super overwhelming. And so this was really a focus on partnering with ISPs, network, providers, and really kind of calling them to say, hey, you can come partner with us so that you could either build things straight into your hardware or create more offerings for your end users to create more privacy at home. It's what I'm personally, passionate about. I have one teenager, one preteen, and don't want to just completely filter their internet experience, but do want to make sure they don't run into things that would be hard for them as teenagers and things that we don't want them to be running into that can be harmful to their growth and their safety on the internet.
Makes sense. Those types of things actually are really important and shows like an evolution of that product in particular, in a way.
For sure. And this, as we all know, this product has continued to grow and grow and grow. And it's one that we wanted to continue to build on that. It's something that so many people can utilize. So how can we make that more widespread?
Makes sense. Tuesday we had different types of blog posts regarding threat intelligence, analytics, different aspects there specifically. Do we want to highlight here the safer internet with Cloudflare potentially?
Yeah, Kelly, you should speak to this one. I know a bunch of your teams have been involved.
Yeah, man. This one was really, really exciting because, like you said, this year we did less blog posts, but they really had some of them had a lot of announcements in that. And that's because we really wanted to focus on a higher level story. So this one is obviously around how we continue to commit to security for the internet. And so it has just a long list of so many different incredible things that we released for more security for everyone, as you can see in the post. And so everything from, additional security analytics with DNS analytics that we opened up to a broader group, to, zero trust. There's so many valuable parts of zero trust that a lot of people just don't know about that are free. So we really wanted to call out so many different existing features that we continue to build on, and then features that we had that we opened up to everyone, and then some new things that came down the line that really can, again, focus on the broader internet of how we can continue to give back around security and safety on the internet.
That reminds me, actually, I did a segment that is going to be published the day that we're recording, Friday, with Matthew, about birthday weeks in general, innovation weeks in general. And one of the things that he mentions is this element of making things free, making the internet better by making things free. Most customers don't know that some of the things they use have good security and they are free. When we launch new things, sometimes to free customers, they have that security even without knowing. So having that security aspect is quite important.
No, for sure. I mean, we Nitin and Liam and a few others actually post will be going out today speaking specifically to that of like we are forever committed to our free customers, that base, and just giving back to as many people as possible. And it's a really fun one that you can go and read today. But very much aligns with that same message.
True. This also made the news in a sense. We were helping to verify the security of end-to-end encrypted message by auditing key transparency for WhatsApp. What's this about?
Yeah. So we've been working on this for a while and working with WhatsApp for a while, but we're excited to bring this to hopefully more people. Kind of idea behind it, right, is that, WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption, obviously, which is very important for privacy. But, how do you have a third party in that chain who can kind of verify that the actual encryption key system and your keys have not been compromised along the way? And so we kind of play that role as that third-party auditor. And it's not just that we kind of plugged into an existing way of doing this or an existing system. We're kind of like working with a new IETF working group around, standards in this space and trying to push that forward. So this is about more than just like, us partnering with WhatsApp and kind of working with them, and a little bit bigger picture, like, for everything that is end-to-end encrypted and more things are, how can more of that end-to-end encryption infrastructure be audited by third parties so that people can truly trust it?
Makes sense. And it brings attention to encryption, but also the transparency element of it, how encrypted and it is, giving that transparency and that trust also is important.
For sure.
Totally.
We should we move to Wednesday, the speed brain day?
There's a lot of stuff on Wednesday. We should do Wednesday.
Yeah, let's dive into Wednesday. There really is. There's a lot of really fun stuff on Wednesday.
You already mentioned speed brain a bit, Brendan. What is you already mentioned the speed there, the how better performance we can take from things like that. So
Yeah. So SpeedBrain's interesting, right? So as I mentioned before, you kind of turn SpeedBrain on for your website, and then what happens behind the scenes is that we kind of intelligently figure out for that user, what is the page that they might click into next, and then speculatively preload that into the browser so that by the time you actually take that action, that page navigation kind of feels instant to you. And so we get into a little bit in this post, that we have a really high percentage hit rate of, when we speculatively prefetch one of those assets, what percentage of the time have we kind of guessed right? And the person does end up navigating to that next page. And so I kind of build off some emerging standards in this space. And we've been working closely with the team at Google who works on Chrome. But we're really excited about this one. It's been kind of a long time coming. I know that Alex Krivet is super, super passionate about this. And so it's excited to kind of roll this one out.
It's interesting to see these blog posts also get technical in the sense of they give some indications of how things work, in this case, how browsers work at a glance. There's good visuals also for people to understand a bit more about this area specifically, not only how we did it, how we got this to be faster, but also a bit of how all of this works, which is quite interesting to see this blog post.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's interesting with this, like when you build something that you try to make magic for somebody, like the more magic that you build, the more that the onus is kind of on you to explain it, because people are, trusting us to do the right thing for their website. And so that's a lot of what is behind why we use the Cloudflare blog in the way that we do and get into all these details, because you need to be able to, understand what's going on behind the scenes in order to kind of hand over the keys a little bit in that trust back to us.
I love that point too, because, we've obviously grown a lot, even in just the past couple years in our customer base and the number of people like behind us and using so many of these different things. And with this particular announcement, we turned this on for all free zones. This went out. It wasn't, hey, go into the dashboard and enable. Obviously for pro and biz and enterprise, they can go and enable. We didn't want to turn that on for them. We want that to be more of a choice. But for all of our free base, this was turned on. So yeah, we did need to give some more details here of like, hey, this is what this is, the value of it. Here's some more transparency into the value that it's bringing, but giving more education behind it. And again, why we would do that, turn it on for everyone, because it is a little piece of magic, like Brendan said. And we felt that was important of like, we need to give this magic to as many people as we can.
It's also a good name, Speed Brain. I really like it. And I like this example of 11,000 kilometers round trip between New York and London in 66 milliseconds. So that's kind of a good example specifically of
Yeah.
work. Where should we go next? There's a lot to go over on Wednesday.
Man, there's so much here. I think, one, new standards for a faster, more private web. That's another one that we really consolidated a ton of really, really valuable and impactful announcements into one post. And this one was really tricky to do because we could have written probably 5 to 10 blog posts with the things in this. And that was hard to make that decision to be like, no, we need to talk about the higher level story. And I have to call out Bullock here. He was so patient, probably rewrote this 2-3 times, making sure that we got the message right here. And everything from, rolling out encrypted client hello, to, oh my gosh, there's so many things. We reflect on like universal SSL and kind of the journey of performance security as a company and go through, we have Z standard compression, and there's so much in this post, all of them focused on kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier in the segment of continuing to lead the standard for performance, for security, why that's important to us. And this year, what we're releasing around that message.
Absolutely. It's a long post with different elements and different explanations.
Yeah.
It gives, we could expand much more on each subtitle, I would say, like you're saying, but at least it gives like a good general perspective of all of these different areas in this standards element.
It does. But yeah, if you want a fun, like, Saturday morning, Sunday morning reading, for those of you that love to read the blog on the weekend, this honestly is a really cool one to just kind of see this really long list of things that we do care about setting a higher standard.
Absolutely. Where should we go next? A lot still on Wednesday.
There is.
I think we might
I
want
wanna
to talk
talk about developers. Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
might need.
gotta talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, you're going to keep me here for like an hour because on Thursday we hosted this event we call Builder Day. We did a big kind of live stream with people. We're having events at our offices, but we had a announcement that kind of encapsulated 18 big different updates to the Workers platform, which encapsulates not just Cloudflare Workers, but durable objects, our AI products, et cetera. And so if we jump into this one, like, I think that if I zoom way, way, way out, at Cloudflare, we've been building a platform for developers to deploy code across Cloudflare's network for years. This is actually the 7th birthday, if I'm right. That's 7 of Cloudflare Workers. We launched Workers 7 years ago, actually at birthday week. And so over time, we've been evolving that, and we've been kind of growing it from, this pretty in the early days, simple functions as a service platform into really what it is now, where there's, a number of different products that involve data and state, and you can kind of run AI inference and trying to help customers build, really complete full stack applications that are deployed to Cloudflare. And what we announced yesterday was a couple things. I'll maybe start with talking a little bit about observability. Across all of these different things that we're building, one of the kind of most foundational things you kind of need to do as a developer is to go and debug things. And it sounds kind of silly to say in retrospect, but for a long time, I actually just didn't have a way for you to persist the logs from your application and then go look at them after and query them and understand what happened. Kind of had to set up a bunch of things and send them off to some external service. And it was just honestly too painful. And so earlier this year at Developer Week, we acquired a company called Baseline because we saw that they were kind of building a lot in this space and it was just so aligned with what we were trying to build. And that team kind of hit the ground running. They've been building a new persistent logs interface that's natively built into Cloudflare Workers. We've gotten a ton of amazing feedback about this in the past 24 hours. I was just seeing some stats before I jumped on here of how many people are trying it out. So if you watch this and you've tried it, thank you. But we're excited to see where this all goes, extend this a little bit further to think about distributed traces and think about metrics and all kinds of other things. So that was kind of like, we're just trying to really listen to what people are already building today on Cloudflare and help accelerate that and help people, just solve real problems that they have already.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like, I don't know, we're not going to be able to get into all these different things, but,
It's 18, just about, just this topic, it's about 18 big updates to the Workers platform. It's a lot, but that's definitely one with a lot of feedback on social media for sure.
yeah, totally. So, I think I'll hit on maybe two more here. Just, we've been working for a long time. We have two products that today allow developers to kind of deploy their own code to Cloudflare Workers and Cloudflare Pages. And Pages has been kind of really used for building full stack applications, things that need to serve, your client-side JavaScript, your HTML page, your CSS, et cetera. And we've been making a lot of progress over the past year, trying to bring those together and make the platform a lot simpler. Because at Cloudflare, we really care about being a platform where there's kind of one way to do something rather than, there's, 17 knobs and dials and you can kind of stitch together 12 services that feel like the product managers didn't really talk to each other. And so one of the things that we've done is kind of bring a bunch of the functionality from Cloudflare Pages into Workers. And with this North Star of just making sure that we're always simplifying what we're doing, especially as we're growing and we have more and more and more to the platform right now.
Absolutely. I've heard good feedback also about this zero latency SQLite storage in every durable object. I saw some folks surprised that this would be possible, actually. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of flies in the face of a lot of the conventional wisdom. Like if you Google things about stored procedures and SQL databases, you'll get a lot of people on really the past 20 years of internet forums about programming saying that it's a bad idea, like considered harmful. And so I remember when Kenton was kind of proposing some of this and talking to him a little bit about it, and like, okay, like this is very counterintuitive and different. But I think it really starts to change how you think about how you build software where you're, kind of co-locating compute and data together. And you're not thinking about the network so much when you talk to a database. It honestly just like when you dig into some of this post, you realize that some of the things in SQL, some of the things around complicated joins are really just like, wait, you don't actually have to do that if code is running in the same process as a database. So definitely recommend if you want to nerd out on a post this week, like this would be one of my favorites to go deep on.
Absolutely. Should we go to another Workers related one?
Yeah, I want to hit on one more. Sorry, I have so many things to talk about.
Sure.
All right, keep going.
It was on that other page. We talked about Workers KV. So this is our key value store for Workers. It's been around for quite a long time, and over that period of time, so many products at Cloudflare depend on it, as well as so many of the things that our developers build. And it's actually at this scale that when we make performance improvements, it makes a pretty significant chunk of the internet and web applications faster. And, KV was already pretty fast, but we were able to shave off, quite a lot of latency through a bunch of optimizations that we got into in this post. And so really proud of the team that put this together. And this really dives into kind of how we did that. What do the performance metrics look like? This makes all of the static assets that Cloudflare pages and Cloudflare workers serve faster. It makes Cloudflare Stream faster, and make all kinds of products that we build on top of our own platform faster. And so super excited to kind of get this out there. It's been a long time coming.
I saw folks sharing their version of this chart actually, in terms of milliseconds and how it improved. So good job to the team there.
Totally.
There's more. Where could you go?
There's so much more. I mean, gosh, like I swear I'll stop talking at some point, but we got to talk about AI for a second. Because this is actually the 1-year anniversary at Birthday Week of Workers AI. Last year at Birthday Week, we introduced it. I remember last summer, we were kind of like scrambling to get, GPUs into Cloudflare's network and make it happen. And now the platform is so much more mature. It's really cool to see how far the team has taken this. And so what we announced yesterday was we got into how we're able to run much bigger models. We're really working on driving down time to first token. And what's happened over the past year in the space is super interesting, because AI inference just overall, if you zoomed back a year and a half ago, the time it took to get back that initial token, that initial part of the response was pretty slow. And so, at the time, like we were thinking at Cloudflare, like, okay, like where's this going to go? And we kind of made this bet that over time, models would get faster, hardware would get faster, and that time to first token would actually go down. And as time to first token starts to go down, well, as a percentage of the overall latency, like the network is a larger percentage. And so then the idea that you're running AI inference all over the world in this distributed way starts to matter more and more and more. And we're starting to really see that manifest itself this year. And I think it's, things are only getting faster, and we'll see that throughout 2025. So we went super deep here. We talked a lot about like kind of how we did it behind the scenes. We got into some of the optimizations that we made at the hardware level. We've been rolling out our Gen 12 metals, as you were just showing. And those that kind of new architecture is a really important piece of how we are able to have, bigger, better, faster GPUs across our network.
Quite interesting to see. I was mentioning in the beginning that confluence of hardware helping software, helping the platform in general. It's great to see that work from different teams paying out.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like this has been very collaborative across so many teams at Cloudflare. Really forced us to question a lot of the kind of way we run our network, to be honest.
True. Anything more we want to highlight? We already talked a bit about the SQLite storage, the real objects. Anything more on Workers and Developer Day?
I could be here for an hour, so I will pause.
There's so much more, but people have to go to the blog. Like really, there are like amazing things here. Go and read about them, because they're, like Brendan said, like he only kind of scratched the surface of the value that was released for Developer Day.
Absolutely. And what about Friday?
Yeah.
Like
Friday, there actually is a lot of really, really impactful, cool things that were announced. I think, a big one we talked about, like our free plan. And as I read through that one again yesterday before it came out, it's not just like, hey, we're, reaffirming like our commitment to free. It's that our free plan is here to stay. Just because we're going up market or we're growing as a company, or so many things become more complex as you grow as a company, but like our free plan is here to stay, and it goes into why. And I really love that, because it speaks to not just our mission, but like why we care so much about our customers, that they are a part of our growth. They are a huge part of how our products continue to push boundaries, how we secure the internet. They really are, our free customer base really does help us build better products and grow as a business. So this one was just really fun for me personally to read. But again, there's many other announcements. I don't know, Brendan, do you want to highlight maybe one other one for Friday?
Yeah, I'd love to talk maybe about what we're doing around our open source program. Um, so, we've been working for many, many years with a number of different people building open source projects, big and small. We've kind of had, a done this a little bit ad hoc. We know a lot of people in the industry. We, reach out to different people. And but this year, what we're announcing is that we're really trying to expand our support for open source projects, whether that's, bigger organizations like we work with the OpenJS Foundation, who have been wonderful partners. OpenJS Foundation has some of the biggest projects in JavaScript under it, things like Node.js, et cetera. But also for kind of smaller projects and just kind of trying to play a role and give back on with, people who are building things and putting them out there in the open.
Yeah, it's a good way also to show this open area that is growing in terms of possibilities for open source for sure.
For sure. And I love the focus on really helping like these projects, in the blog they say like this is around helping projects have a sustainable and scalable future by giving them like tools and protection to really thrive. And that just very much aligns with Cloudflare.
True. There's also a mention to the CISA's pledge commitment specifically about cybersecurity here. And because I work so closely with the Radar team, I must also emphasize that the Data Explorer is here to explore a lot of the data that is on Cloudflare Radar, and it has a very cool AI assistant for those who want to try it out.
I mean, Radar is great because it really is one of those things that truly embodies the spirit of giving back to the internet. This is all, data that we have the immense privilege of being able to see through our network and trying to give it back so that anybody can kind of understand internet trends. And sure, I know you're involved in so many of, us blogging about when big events happen and what's going on and, how did Taylor Swift impact internet traffic when during a big event. So it's fun to see.
Absolutely. Last but not least, what we should we give to our audience in terms of to take from this birthday week specifically? They should definitely go to our hub and see other blog posts that we didn't mention specifically. But what we want to highlight as final thoughts.
Man.
I would just say that we're really grateful to everybody who uses Cloudflare, whether you use Cloudflare for free, whether you're one of our biggest customers, we really truly thrive on hearing from you and getting your feedback. And so many of the things that we've been talking about today just come so directly from talking to people who use Cloudflare and trying to help. And so, everybody here really works here because they want to be part of something bigger and have an impact on not just like a company, but on the internet, to be honest. And so that's what this is really about. There's so much more. Kelly, I don't know if you talk about this a little bit, but there's so many ideas that we're on the cutting room floor or things that I know that we're going to be talking about, in a month and a year. So there's just there's endless kind of stuff to build.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's that's honestly where my head was at of birthday week is incredible and we really do try to give as much back as we can, but it doesn't stop after birthday week, right? We are continuously committed to the mission and we have many things that we'll be releasing next week, right? That we wanted to continue to build on that momentum and I want to finish out the year strong, honestly. It's not something that we slow down. We may take a break and maybe take a nap after birthday week because it is a lot of work. But there's so many people involved and people continue to push on the many, many things that we need to continue to deliver so that we can care about the broader internet.
I'm also surprised on how much effort almost the whole company takes for birthday week. It gives a deadline. It gives a real week of purpose of delivering things. Everyone is joined together in a sense, a very community and team spirit. So a big shout out to all of those that work so many hours in all of these announcements.
Yeah, no, it really is a fun week. Yeah, it's a really neat week, like you said, to kind of give a date, give a big push, and people show up in a really, really neat way. And it really is. It's a fun week, to say the least.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much.